Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. Thanks for the click. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are fine. Well, in this episode, as you can see, we are going to talk about some idioms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very common idioms we have in English that you should learn. And these very simple and easy to learn idioms are very common in speaking, okay? Very common in spoken English, which means that we use them a lot. All right, now before we go to these idioms or these examples of idioms we have here, let's talk about idioms in general. What do we mean by idioms? So very simply, an idiom is some sentences, we can say sentences or expressions or phrases that we say to mean something else, to mean something beyond the words we have in the idiom. Therefore, we always say that an idiom cannot be translated word for word. We don't get the meaning of the idiom from the words we have in the idiom, but we focus on the general meaning of the idiom, all right? So just remember, idioms have to do with meaning beyond the words that we have in the idioms, all right? So what you have to remember about this is the meanings, okay? So we can say the meaning, so we focus on the meaning, all right? This is number one. And something else very important that you have to know about idioms is that idioms are something to do with culture. So they are cultural, okay? We can say cultural, so idioms are cultural. And when we say cultural, which means that the idioms we have in this culture, we don't have them in the other culture, okay? So this is what we mean by cultural. So they can be, we can say, translated as far as the culture is concerned, So idioms are cultural. The focus is on the meaning, not the words in the idioms or the idioms we have, all right? So let's see the idioms we have here. So number one, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. This is the back, so scratch, this is what we mean by to scratch. So you scratch my back, I scratch yours. So usually if you want to scratch your back, it's always difficult to scratch your back. So you need someone else to help you scratch your back. All right, so this is it. So if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. This means if you help me, I will help you. If you help me, I will help you. If you don't help me, I will not help you. So this is the meaning of number one. So number one, we can say has to do with help. All right. So remember, number one has to do with help. If you help me, I'll help you. If you don't help me, I will not help you. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Number two, cost an arm and a leg. And as you can see here, this is a verb, and the verb can be conjugated. So it can be used in the past. We can say costed or cost. It costs with S, for example. So it's cost an arm and a leg. This is arm and this is the leg. So this is usually for something which is not, we can say easy, something which is not easy, all right? Something not easy to get. And just for example, take the example of baccalaureate. Getting baccalaureate, so it's not easy. So getting a baccalaureate requires hard work, requires perseverance, patience. So we can say getting baccalaureate costs an arm and leg, which means it's not, we can say not easy, all right? Not easy. Something to do with, we can also say it has to do with something which is expensive, all right? Something which is expensive, all right? For example, we can say this smartphone costs an arm and leg, which means it's very expensive. This house costs an arm and leg, which means it's very expensive. So it can mean either expensive or when something it's not easy, something that has to do with hard work, with suffering, etc., etc. Okay, so this is what you mean by cost, arm and a leg. I can also say, for example, traveling to the US or traveling to London costs me an arm and a leg, which means it costs me maybe a lot of money, or it was not easy. I suffered. I found a lot of problems. Okay, so that's what you mean by cost an arm and a leg, something which is not easy. All right. Number three, you've got a memory like a sieve. You've got a memory like what? A sieve. And a sieve, this is a sieve, and as you know that the sieve cannot keep everything, it lets something fall down, especially tiny things or small things. Okay, so here again we are talking about memory, and we mean that your memory is just like a sieve, which means your memory does not keep everything, it lets something fall down, which means that you forget quickly and you forget easily. So this one, number 3, has to do with, we can say, forgetting. Okay, say forgetting, and it means that you forget a lot. So if you say that this person, for example, got a memory like a sieve, we can say this person forgets quickly. He does not remember anything, right? So that's what you mean by you've got a memory like a sieve, all right? So we should not have a memory like a sieve in order not to forget this lesson. All right, number 4, a piece of cake, chocolate. We can say a piece of cake or a piece of chocolate. So this is very common idiom that we use in English. For example, we can say this test, this exam was a piece of cake, a piece of chocolate. This lesson is a piece of cake, is a piece of chocolate. So very simply here we mean that it is very easy. We can say very easy. Very easy. The test was a piece of chocolate. The exam was a piece of cake. All right. So this means that the exam or the test was very easy. As I said, this lesson is also a piece of cake. Easy to learn. Number 5, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Now here, ears and ears are used for what? For, very simply, for listening. For listening. And when you say I'm all ears, which means you are listening attentively, not any kind of listening, but you are listening attentively. All right? Attentively. So you are listening attentively. So if somebody, or if you want somebody to tell you something, say, well, talk. I am all ears, which means I am listening to you attentively. So these are the 5 very common, easy to learn idioms in English. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So as you can see here, we don't have or we don't use the meaning of the words we have in the idioms, but we focus on the meaning. Number 1 means to help. Help me, I help you. Number 2, when something is not easy or when something is expensive, it's demanding. Number 3 is when somebody forget a lot, forgetting. You've got a memory like a sieve. Number 4, a piece of chocolate or a piece of cake. This means when something is easy. And number 4, I'm all ears, which means I'm listening to you attentively. So as you can see here, the focus is on the meaning and not on the words we have in the idioms. I hope you learned this lesson. I hope you find this easy to learn. See you in another episode with another lesson. Have a good time and goodbye.